So hello and welcome to SpeakEasy Online. It's May 2023 and this will be the last one online before the summer break, and we'll look at picking up again in September. But yeah, it's great to see you guys all here. I've got one notice because we had the Poetry Symposium was a great success on Saturday just gone, and Andy Hopkins is doing two more workshops at Tully on May the 20th and May the 27th, 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. I think they cost £10. There's information on his blog, and you can contact me if you're interested. But those workshops are really good, and I know a number of people from SpeakEasy and other groups have been to them over the years and find them really inspiring. So you might be hearing some of those poems that were produced in the workshops tonight. So yeah, I was going to say, George, did you want to give a shout out for your notices now as well?
Yeah, just a couple of things. The Wigton Poetry Prize closes this, well, on the 31st, so it's very close, but the Wigton is open, the competition is open. That's for English language, Scottish language, and there's a pamphlet competition as well at the Wigton. And then the other one is that the McClellan, which is the Arran poetry competition, I think it's July, 31st of July it closes, but it's a wee bit further ahead. You can check that one. I mean, both are available online. You know, if you look them up, you can find them. But I just thought I'd mention in case anyone's interested in taking part.
Cool. That's brilliant. Yeah, thanks for mentioning those. That's really terrific. And we were saying before, is it visual verse? Craig, you've got some stuff on visual verse. Well done, man. Yeah,
Thank
you're on.
you. Well, I'm having a few technical difficulties my end, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad now.
And that's cool. Well, yeah, congratulations. I know George and Jeanette, you've also had stuff published on there over recent months as well, so that's fantastic. There's lots going on, isn't there? All right, let's crack on. I can't remember if I read this last month or not, so you're going to get it again if I have. It's called The Repository of Knowledge, and it goes like this. Enlightenment is available to you. Don't need a guru to tell you, do this, do that. Don't need no magic dust, mushrooms or psychedelic drugs. True enlightenment comes from within. Summon the courage, take that first step. Take a deep breath and press on through and go to the place of wisdom. You'll be surprised by what you find. It's encoded in symbols, preserved in precious pages, hidden behind the covers of books. Take an open mind to that repository of knowledge, the library. And remember, no one will do it on your behalf. Don't let others think for you. You are responsible for your own education, which means you can think. You can do. You can be free. And that's that one. So there you are. Repository of knowledge. Oh, thanks very much. Okay, Kelly, what have you got for us?
Apologies to those who've already heard this at the Poetry Symposium, but it seemed to go down quite well there, and there's quite a few other people from Maryport here tonight, so you might enjoy this. Senhouse Street, Maryport. If this street were a woman, she'd be stubbing out her fag, remembering better days. A few pubs hang off her sleeves, along with the charity shops. A newsagent and the last bank linger like stray hairpins. The pavement's a paisley skirt of nameless stains. At dusk, youths drift near the chip shop, the alleyway, smoking and swearing, while gulls watch for pickings from their chimney battlements. She could be a street in any left-behind northern town, but she has a giddy secret. Over the brow of the hill, she careers down to a harbour, a once grand quay, swirls of green nets, a host of masts, the best bloody sunsets in England.
Oh, Kelly, you conjured that up beautifully. Yeah, it's a really lovely poem. That, yeah, it's lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, who did I say? Val, you're next. Have you got something for us?
Yeah, I read this at Poets last week, so apologies for those who've heard it. It's just about the coronation. I was watching it and I felt like it needs a bit of an update for all these poor old people. So it's called Coronation Update. I felt sorry for King Charles III. The poor man's getting old, sat there on his wooden throne in a heavy crown of gold. Our monarchy's getting older, the ceremony's out of date. Let's dress them in a golden gown with some matching slippers of state. Sceptres, orbs, and dual swords, what use have they for those? We need some new regalia, so here's what I propose. 1. The cushion of comfort to signify ease and leisure. 2. The crystal glass of champagne to denote joy and pleasure. 3. The bejeweled smartphone to symbolise communication. 4. The golden gun to represent the security of our nation. Finally, the hat of hope and health would be placed upon their head, and they'd wear it every single day until the day that they were dead. Not exactly poetry.
You'll be in charge of organising the next coronation with all that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just going to check my phone because it's my mobile because it's just rung and I just wonder if it's Roz.
Well, Roz is on the line now, but yeah, that's cool. Hello, Roz. You're okay? We're going to put, if you can follow Jeffrey, who's towards the end, who's after Janetto, is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Fantastic. Good to see you. Okay, we're with Craig now. Have you got something for us, Craig?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm not too loud, am I?
Sounds good.
All right. This was my entry for visual verse last month, so it was a rejection, this one. This is called a fiery or fairy tale with a question mark. Floating a fathom below the undulating surface, one may see plankton, amoebas, jellyfish, and a filigree of fairies. Distant clouds entangling with the fruit of the genus Luffa, a vegetable gourd. A red-skirted fairy beckoning beholders like a drop of Christ's blood on the crown of thorns. A sponge soaked with vinegar and a gasping mouth thirsting for air. We struggle for air, drowning. Did I say thirsting for air? It should have been thirsting for water if I did. I don't know. I don't know if my brain's hearing something that my mouth's not saying or not. Anyway, that's that one. Thank you.
That was great, Craig. You read those so well. You've got such a great delivery. That was fantastic. Thank you. All right, now we come to Sherry. How you doing? What have you got for us?
Well, I'm just going to read something that I've written about the borders. The Brampton poets have got to write something about the border, or it could be the border, or it could be something named like a border, like my border terrier. So I decided to write that about the border in Brampton, and I've called it The Ridge. So the beautiful ridge in Brampton is a joy to behold, where tranquil days are shared by young and old with autumn and spring. I've got a thing coming up on here. Can you hear me okay? Am I not too loud?
Yeah, we're good.
Right. I think maybe I'm pressing a button with my phone. Sorry. I'll carry on. We walk through an avenue of trees whose fallen leaves lie in abundance for Puppy to prance and frolic about in. The beautiful spring sunshine on glorious fields peeps through the trees surrounding the woods, showing the eye some far distant hills framed by a border of subtle branches. The snowdrops gathering in clumps in the woods and crocuses popping up in the grass on the horizon. An experiment with Tico today off his lead. As 3 children walked towards us, the parents called, "Stop!" and the children stood still. Puppy ran up to each of them, as was his will. I worried he would jump up and knock them down, for they were toddlers. I didn't frown. I thought of the pup and the book about Alice. "Don't jump up, don't jump up, don't jump up," I implored for each child. His claws, being sharp as swords, could have done harm to every one of them. But he was mild, there was no malice. He licked a hand and sniffed another, ran up to the third like a long-lost brother. We went on our way, me, the mums and dads. I'd known one of them since they were lads. His smile confirmed that all had gone well, where the cows, the sheep and the horses dwell, in the tree-lined fields running their courses, a place of memories where magic yields a wealth of invisible fairies, dancing where the children have been. The puppy wasn't sure about that neck of the woods. He refused to go on any further. Perhaps he'd seen a white rabbit on the way home. On the way home, we met some others. He also welcomed them like long-lost brothers. One of them gave him a treat before he snapped their feet. "Go fetch Grandma," he said, before they led him back to the woods, bordered by branches, surrounding abounding magic with enchantment. And the reference to Alice was about Alice in Wonderland. So, because there's a border in Alice in Wonderland as well, that little dog. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah. No, you conjured up a lot of lovely images there, Sherry. That was really, yeah, really nice. Okay, George.
Hi. Yeah. So this is 2150, science lesson number 1. Students, take your rock, and with one blow split open to the mess that lies within. See, all the metals there, gold and silver, the silicon, those chips, the efforts in this useless thing. Well, they're only found in those old tips, land destroyed, poisoned, around every major city. Imagine when this glowed, the battery. Yes, that was what they relied on. Do not laugh, that boy, I saw you hold it to your ear. You thought it funny, but often they did not speak, just fingered words onto the screen we just shattered. Now look at your rock, there's not a mark on it. They forgot what matters most. Learn the things we can rely on. Now take your stylus, scratch. This earth is all we have.
That was wonderful, George. Yeah, you do wonder what the artifacts that will be left for the future will be, yeah. And what will future generations make of these shiny black rocks and tablets? Thanks, George. Okay, Fliss, hello.
Hello. Right. This is scary. I'll start by reading the thing I wrote most recently, which came out of becoming totally obsessed with a musician called Ren, who is also a rapper and a bit of a poet and pretty amazing. So that has nothing to do with the content of the thing. Anyway, it's called Nothing to Say. What have you got to say for yourself? Cursory nursery rhymes. There's nothing more to be said. We're mute as the dead. Nothing to say but old saws, cutting and pasting the same old boat. Nothing new to see here. Old wives' tales and ancient mariners. Nothing but sea here. Nothing fresh to hear here. Just reciting cliches, speaking of the devil, card sharps with idle hands, shuffle the nonsense and repeat. Hear, hear, oye, oye, listen, silent. Same, 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 time, 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 talk, talk, talk. Nothing new under the moon or the sun. Banging the same old broken drum, the times rhyme, and we're in the dock, we're under the gun. Egg jugglers, water carriers, terminally ill, turn your wine into vinegar, but there's a hole in your head that no paper can fill. So Simon says, put your money where your mouth is, because only money talks. Blather it, lather it, rinse it and repeat. Hedge your bets, grow your debts, grab your slice of pie, hide your pirate's treasure in an offshore shell game, sink your money in a super yacht. Sail away, sail ahoy, rock bottom prices, everything must go. Sell your soul to the city sinners, coin tossers, plate spinners. Men of words and not of deeds, your lying IOUs aren't worth the tissue paper they're written on. A rising tide breaks the banks and sinks all ships. Trees fall in the drowned forest and the birds have flown. So long and thanks for all the chips. Anchors away, you say, but we're in dry dock, up to our ears in hock. There'll be the devil to pay when these debts come due. At the end.
Wow.
I don't know whether you could tell, but it was trying to reference lots and lots of nursery rhymes.
Yeah. That was great. I was going to say you're also Fliss is also published by Coldew Press, and this pamphlet is well, it's based on a talk you gave about art and the environmental crisis. Do you want to just have a quick plug for that?
Oh yeah, plug it. Yes, it's a little pamphlet. It's about economics, art, and environment, and why art should save the world if we only all did it, including poetry, obviously. But it's available directly from Phil or from myself for the cheap sum of £6.50, or perhaps the exorbitant sum, depending on what you think. It's got one song in it, poem song thing, but the rest of it is prose.
And it's got some of your lovely artwork in here as well, which is super. And John Hegley was up on the bank holiday weekend doing some gigs locally as part of the rural touring scheme, and he said, bring some of the Coldew Press books along to put on the table for when we're doing the Scarcity of Biscuits books. And I brought a couple of these. He didn't have time to look at it thoroughly, but he liked the cover.
Okay, good.
He liked the artwork.
That's great. That's very exciting.
And he said, that's a nice shade of grey, that is. I like that.
Well, I think that might be down to you.
But yeah. So there you go. Endorsed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Who we got next? We got Janetto next. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
All right, thank you. The next one I'm going to do was in the last visual verse, like Craig's. I don't know if you can see it. It's too bright. That's the picture, but it was like whimsical fairies and all kinds. So it's called She is Nacreous. She has lustre and the pearly inner surface of the strongest shell. She is iridescent with skirts and wings of gossamer. She can illuminate when she is low, still glow in vivid colours. She is rare, her clouds reflect light between sunset and sunrise. She is reminiscent of an oil reflection in a petrol puddle. She is opalescent and wishes upon the horizon. That's that.
Wow, it's exquisite.
Thank you.
So what was the image? It was the sort of it was an underwater image, was it?
See if I can get it to show on the screen a bit better, just because it's on my phone. It's a bit. But if I knock this light off.
Was it the green one with the
Yeah,
sort of
the green
something?
one with
It's
with
got
like little
got a
fairies
loofah
and
in it, which is a
jellyfish.
bit off-putting.
A loofah
I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? I can't find the screen properly.
and fish.
Yeah.
Was it in a wetsuit with the goggles and?
Oh no, that was another one a
No,
few
that
months before. Yeah. Well, sorry, it doesn't show very well.
It's all right. It's all right.
There
Yeah.
was fairies and a loofah and clouds in
Wow.
the distance, wasn't there?
Yeah, and like little dandelion bits, I think, as well. But I've got to say, Craig's today, he's not just got in visual verse, he's got in the very first few. So hats off to you, Craig. Well done. It's a great piece.
Thank you. But there was 12 on and mine wasn't there, and then it went up to 30, and all of a sudden mine was there on page 5. So I don't know what's happened, but I got an email from them which I've never had
I think
before.
that's
It had some comments about it, which was nice to get because it was a shock.
absolutely.
But,
That's happened
nobody did
before,
that.
Craig. I don't know what
Yeah.
happens with it, but sometimes they don't seem to put them up as it goes. It's there. Sometimes, I mean, I've looked in the archive and found that there's poems in the archive that you don't actually see on the month as it goes along.
But I was pleased I was in, because I would have only been 50% success rate if I hadn't been in. So that's me 5 out of 8 now. So I'm chuffed about that.
Great stuff.
Cool.
Nice to be with hallowed company.
And are you going to read your recently published one later?
I might, if I can get it to appear on screen and do this at the same time.
Yeah,
It's not
great.
on my phone, but I'll try and do it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. Oh, evening.
Thank you.
We've got Graham on the call. Hello.
Hello. I was having connectivity problems.
Oh wow, you've solved it now. You're here, which is good.
I am here. Yes.
We've got Jeffrey next, and then Roz, and then if you okay to follow Roz, we'll have Graham. Yeah, is that cool? Cool. Hopefully we'll get it in before we have to sign back in about 6.5 minutes. But over to you, Jeffrey. What have you got for us?
Well, I didn't think I was going to do anything of my own, but I went to a funeral this morning, which obviously put me in a poetic mood when I got back to my office, and I hadn't any clients to see. So anyway, I've written this, which I think I should dedicate to Dorothy Parker, really, if you're familiar with the oeuvre of Dorothy Parker. It's called Still Desperandum, not Nil Desperandum, which means, of course, don't despair. This is Still Desperandum. I've never found it whilst I am waiting at a bus stop or in cinema queues, or travelling in a railway carriage, or beneath those neon advertisements in Piccadilly Circus in the rain, when failing to erect my umbrella, not even in a novel's last chapter. But perhaps I'm always the missing one, and love has arrived unexpectedly, here and there, only to find I have gone to all the places where I get it wrong. The end.
That was very powerful, Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's the last line that matters every time, isn't it? Yeah, you've got to find that last line.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not worth finishing.
Otherwise, it's unfinished. Yeah. And I'm sorry for your loss as well, having gone to the funeral this morning.
Well, yes, it was the son of my business partner that died 18 months ago in his 80s, and his son unfortunately died in his 50s recently, and that was his funeral today. So, but yeah, it was one of those days where time just, I don't know, stops and you reflect, and well, anyway, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the poem. That was really lovely. So
thank you.
Okay, we're with Roz. Have you got something for us, Roz?
trying to read off the paper because I haven't found it on the computer. I got that croaky voice today. I was just in the garden. I think that's probably why. I must have hay fever or something. And I've not written anything this week because I've been busy. This is my coronation walk from last Wednesday. The sun smiled the day before the coronation. Spring was in the air. New life and new growth were busy filling the local countryside where we took our walk. It's a good year for cowslips, you remarked. Best in years. I'm reminded of childhood wanderings along lanes rich with wildflowers, which we picked by the armful. These childish gifts for our mothers, inadvertently hurting Mother Nature. We must recognise our lack of thought, our lack of understanding, take responsibility for ignorance, and pass on our empirical knowledge to teach people to take more care and farmers to do less damage, to halt the loss of biodiversity, so that Charles, who we mocked for championing the organic, can reign over a time of renewal, although his voice will be silenced, no longer the eco-warrior prince, when tomorrow he becomes just the king. And that's happened.
Yeah, really good. Really good. Thanks, Roz. Okay, over to Graham. You got 2.5 minutes. Is that enough time, or do you want us to sign back in?
Oh no, I've got 2.5 minutes to be fine. Just as a quick preface, I've joined a creative writing thing in Dumfries, and we were given a prompt last week, so I thought I'd read one of the poems. It's not entirely in a finished state, but we were told to write a poem about a room, and everyone, well, apart from me, surprise, surprise, wrote a very descriptive piece. You know, like my chair is blue, my carpet is soft, kind of thing. This is what I wrote. I know a place to go, a place to be, a place in my heart where only I dwell, a beautiful place, a peaceful place, an empty space, a space to dream. This place is far away, close at hand, within traveling distance, too far to walk, just out of reach, a place to breathe, to never leave. This place is my place. I live here, behind the veil of crumbling spires of housing schemes and Bible dreams. If these walls could talk, the tales they'd tell would scare you. I walk the floors in measured pace. I have grown to love and to hate this place. I am alone, though time will tell when others visit. I didn't choose this darkened place. I do not want to rest my bones in buildings tall or shallow tombs. I want to fly. I want to fly. There you go.
Wow.
So yeah, as I said, everyone else is doing nice carpets and soft furnishings and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just me being obtuse.
No, that's great. What a powerful piece to come out of such a what would appear to be quite a simple sort of prompt, and it sparked you like that. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens tomorrow because it's on tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Oh, we got a sneak preview. That's great. We're about to run out of time. If I push the button, use the login, and we'll sign back in, and then we'll have another go around. Does that sound okay?
Cheers.
Cool. See you guys in a second. It's quite a busy evening tonight, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm afraid I'll have to slip away at 8:30 as usual.
What are you having for dinner, Kelly? What's on the menu tonight?
I'm actually not sure. It might be a
mystery.
surprise. Probably pasta of some sort.
Good. I mean, we like to know these things, you see.
I know.
Phil, how do you manage to get back in so quick? When I do this in a meeting that I chair, it puts me in purdah for 5 minutes and won't let me reopen another meeting.
It must know me well, I suppose. It thinks, oh, it's that Kelly Davis. We'll let her in.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I chair a meeting, and when I say to people, "We'll come back in," and then it tells me that as I've just left a meeting, I can't open another one for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, when I set up the times, I give it a much longer time period, so maybe that's to do with
Oh,
it.
do you? Well, no, it won't let me do that.
Oh, you can just email them and complain, George.
I don't know. I think they're making rules of their own. I don't know what to do. They don't like Scottish people. That's what it is. It's prejudice.
Possibly.
Something goes wrong with my camera every time I log in and log back out again, things like this. So I'm not really in the pitch dark.
I thought it was a
You're
stylistic
looking
choice.
quite scary there.
I'm sorry. It's done it before in other Zoom meetings and I don't know why.
So sometimes the video malfunctions if you need to reinstall it, if they've done an update. That's happened to me sometimes.
Yeah, I updated it just the other day. Last time I joined a Zoom, it wanted to be updated. So I don't know. I think it's probably my camera.
Well, that was why I was late, because it was telling me to update and then update my update.
Oh, yeah.
Well, luckily we're not doing visual stuff. I'm not doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's not the perfect medium, but we do the best we can. And, yeah, this is good. Okay.
Maybe I should just turn off my video actually, because it looks horrible, doesn't it?
No,
I'll just be a name.
Artistic.
Try again. No, that's still not good. Oh well.
It's moody poetry.
Very, very left bank, I think.
At least it will stop me from looking at myself and checking how I look all the time. Because does anybody else find themselves doing that?
We're not going to admit to it.
Oh, I'm sorry, too honest.
Oh goodness. Cool. That was lovely. That was some really good, really good stuff there. So yeah. All right. We better crack on again, or we'll have to sign in again. This is a poem that came out of one of Andy's workshops. I read it on Saturday. The brief that he was giving us was it was going to be based on trying to tease ideas out of us that were sort of surreal. So I thought, oh, this is good. This is the moment of the workshop I've been really waiting for, you know. And he encouraged us to think of a place, an object, an animal, and then a famous person. And then there was a few more instructions. And what I came up with, well,
Kung Fu Penguin.
Well, we'll get to Kung Fu Penguin in a bit. But this is a poem about Donald Trump. It goes like this. Donald Trump has turned into the Eiffel Tower. The iron structure is now orange. He is looking down on everyone. The French people are not happy. Donald is a blot on the skyline. Donald Trump has turned into a fish, the biggest fish and the best fish, a giant overweight goldfish, or is he carp? Might be a spelling error there. Whatever he is harping on, blowing bubbles, meaningless drivel from a big fish in a small pond. Donald Trump has turned into a pair of scissors, the size of novelty gaudy gold shears for opening a mini-mart. They're not very sharp, blunt edges. Still, he's cutting up all the rules. But hopefully, before too long, he will be supervised by a responsible adult at all times. And there you are. If you go along to Andy's workshops, you might be able to write zany stuff like that too. Thank you. All right, over to Kelly. Do you have another one for us?
This is a very new one, probably needs a bit more work, but I think it might follow on quite well from the one Graham read before we finished the first half. The arched window in my son's top floor bedroom. So near the floor, it's almost a door to blue sky, nothingness, another dimension. When he was a toddler, it gave me nightmares, that awful story of Eric Clapton's son falling to his death. We kept it locked so long, we lost the key. The wide sill, a harmless perch for a schoolboy. He could look down on our garden where trees resembled bushes while seagulls flew past at pale yellow eye level. The boy became a man who saw the distant fells through his window, turned into a walker. When we had scaffolding up, he picked the lock and sunbathed on the boards, assured me it was safe. During lockdown, his quiet room became the perfect study with window as relief. Now he's gone, the arched glass offers a vertiginous view for passing guests. They meet the seagulls through the window, eyeball to eyeball, each in their element.
Excellent, Kelly. It's like, was it Play School that would go, and now through this shaped window? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of empty nest poem, I suppose, but quite a humorous one. I'm actually very pleased that he's doing what he wants to do.
I just wanted to check when you said left, you meant gone somewhere else, not departed this mortal coil or anything like that.
No, he's fine.
Okay, just trigger warning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Eric Clapton son references makes
Tears in Heaven. So Tears in Heaven, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Okay, we're back with Val. Are you able to follow that? What have you got through the window with you?
Well, I have an apple tree at the bottom of my garden, and the blossom was falling off, so it just reminded me of this poem I wrote last year. It's just called Apple Blossom. Apple blossom falls, swirling round like snow, landing like confetti on the ground below. Delicate patterns, pale pink flowers on green, and a prettier carpet I have never seen. Grass green velvet covered with pink lace, no work of art could match the beauty of this place. May Day sunshine on a blustery day, as my lawnmower mows the apple blossom away.
That's lovely. Yeah, the apple blossom is so yeah, it's exquisite looking, isn't it? Yeah, you captured that really, really beautifully. Thank you very much. All right, Craig, we're back with you.
Yeah, I'm just going to read one I read last time I was at Poets Out Loud. This is called A Burial of Sorts. Whilst writing this, I did wonder if they could somehow bury me with him. Burials are too expensive, she said. Maybe scattering your ashes over his grave would be more appropriate and more affordable, I'd expect. Does it matter that I don't remember him? He would remember me, the child, his child, not the man I'd become. It was a fresh, fleeting, mad idea, about as mad as reaching out to a God I don't believe in and asking him to intervene. Just give him back the time it took me to find his grave today. Let him hold my hand and walk with me a while. And if I cannot bury me with him, then at least let me bury him within me. Thank you.
Yeah, Craig, that's a very powerful piece as well. Yeah. So, yeah. Again, you delivered that beautifully. That was very powerful.
I'm quite aware that sometimes my delivery is a bit rubbish, so I'm trying to get better at it. So thanks for that. That's good feedback.
Well, it was great. Nothing wrong with the delivery there, mate. So that was excellent. Thank you. All right, Sherry, we're back with you. Do you have another one for us?
I haven't written very many poems because I'm also doing a creative writing course, and there are a few ideas there that I can follow up for poetry, but I haven't yet. Or I have done, but it's a bit muddled, so I need to sort of think it through. So I'm going to read one that I wrote when I was thinking it was just after we'd come out of the lockdowns and COVID, and everything had been very bleak. And then my son said, "What do you think? Do you think I should get married?" So I said, "Yeah." I mean, I knew who he was going to get married to, but it was really nice after all the stuff lockdown. So there's a bit of death, a bit of symbolism about a butterfly for me means like a new birth type of thing, or something new happening. And so I'll read on. It's called The Bridge. Build a bridge over troubled water, let the water flow underneath, and watch the leaf pass us by. And yet a butterfly sits on the leaf for a minute, and in that split second, it becomes abundantly clear that the beauty of the world is how God made it, some would say, because that is what some people believe in, whilst others still have different spiritual beliefs, just as well founded as the belief in God. Step where other steps have trod, and learn to believe in one another, and love the earth for all its beauty, whichever way it was made, who made it, wherever it came from. Let it stay how it is, without battle or strife, man and wife together forever. So that's it. There were sort of more feelings in that I've forgotten about, but I hope they came out with the poem.
Yeah, no, there was a lot in there actually, and yeah.
And when I was just reading it just now, I haven't read it for what, a couple of weeks probably, and I thought actually there's quite a lot more in that, and I could probably add to it as well in a way. Maybe that's part of joining the poetry group.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Yeah, that was great. I love that. Okay, back to George. Do you have another one for us?
Hi, Phil. Yeah, I'm going to do something that I put on Facebook recently, actually, and when I put it up, someone said to me that it really needed a 6-line coda. I'm not sure that what I've done, but I've added a 6-line coda, so I'll give you that tonight. Also, as I said at the time, it was one of those poems where I don't know if other people find this, a line came into my head and I couldn't get rid of it until I'd written something for it. So this is Chant of the Limping Man. By all the things that make it holy, by all the nights and deaths, by all the lives and cry the morning, by all their tortured breaths, by all the girls listed shy from, by all the friends betrayed and gone, by all the youth once relied on, by all the days that age adorns, by all the hands, the toes, the sweat, by all the foes with no regrets, but all its silent curses. Whisper sorry, know the worst is. They know before a word is said. Had the pain tasted the blood? All eyes can penetrate the veils. Tears are shed to no avail. But all that creeps in shadowed halls, by footstep, echo in empty halls. Coda. Who hears the voice of hollow man? Who fills the space with random hate? Who sings above the drowning wave? Who cries with the comedian? Who notes the time, sets the date, who plays the king and turns The Knave. Thanks.
Wow. So which was the line that started that then, George? You said there was one line that
It was by all the things that make it holy.
Mhm.
And then after I'd been wondering about saying that to myself, I was going into the shower actually. I don't know if other people do. I get up in the morning, going into the shower, and I suddenly thought, well, all the things that make it holy. And I wondered, well, what else is that all about? And then I thought by all the nights and deaths. So I then had to come out before it get dried and everything. I'm writing a poem.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling. I usually write all my best stuff in the bath. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. Yeah, thank you, George. No, that's great. Fantastic. We're back with Fliss. Do you have anything else for us, Fliss? Yeah?
Yeah. I thought I'd go back to a very old one. So my excuse is very old, so it's probably very poor, but it's about windows and things, which seemed kind of a theme. It's sort of about windows. It's called Commuter Train. The carriage is full of private worlds, waking and sleeping, filling the hot, close air, overlapping, not touching. And out there, more crowding private spaces in houses, cars, streets, are separated from these sardine-packed empires by only a narrow strip of unthought reality, shrubby, twiggy, grassy embankment. As the daylight ebbs and windows turn to mirrors, even that space is colonized by reflections of these reflecting faces, until the train escapes into open fields and a streak of orange light between land and sky cuts through the embanked mirror people, a welcome sign of undreamt worlds free from mindedness. That's the end.
Wow. And what was that last line? Undreamt worlds free of mindfulness, was it?
Free, a welcome sign of undreamt worlds free from mindedness.
Mindedness. Wow. There's a lot of great imagery in that.
It's pretty much a description of sitting on a train at sunset, but having been in London, so it was very Londony outside to start with, and then we got out of London.
Yeah, no, that was very evocative. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Janetto, what have you got for us?
Find it again. This is one, if I can find it, that came about. It was a workshop I was at with Kelly in Derbyshire, and it's called On the Threshold. One night I found you in the dark. They say the dead can visit us. You remember that time? That time it wasn't dark. You were by the step, and I stood on the threshold. We parted, and you nodded. Many dreams have passed since then, and I dream that you'll return. Still meet me with that same blue glint. Still be there in the morning. And that's that.
Okay, thank you. And Kelly's heading off. Cheers, Kelly. Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye. Thank you, Jeanette. That was lovely. Okay, we're back with Jeffrey. Do you have another piece for us?
Yeah, I've been desperately searching on my computer. I did write something a while ago, which probably needs work on it. Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Fantastic.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyway, I don't know what I call this, but here goes. There were times, heaven knows this rings true, we could have sold that old clock of ours for real money. That was when a good time was worth having, but not now. The escape mechanism's gone, the mainspring dried up, the cuckoo has flown, the future long stopped. Why didn't we settle just once when we had so much time on our hands? Now sitting apart, hands on knees, not hearts, we live the same hour over with our old dead clock, watching its shadow grow and fall on our fireless mantelpiece wall. The end.
Wow.
I hope you don't get the impression I'm deeply miserable and depressed.
No, but weirdly, Graham did a piece not dissimilar from that last month, wasn't it, Graham?
I was thinking that exactly. A stopped clock.
Oh, right. You'll have to let me have sight of that to see what I've nicked.
That's great, Jeffrey. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Roz, we're with you.
I'm coming through all right because my internet's not working terribly well. You're all frozen or not there at all, I don't know. Anyway, I've got another one from last Wednesday as well. Yeah, I'll just read it. Symmetry of stars. A singularity, a tiny dense spot exploded into life, full of energy. She ran through her expanding personal universe, collecting knowledge, passing on her wisdom, while leaping, goat-like, from ledge to ledge along the precarious precipice of life, until, inevitably, she must slip headlong into her final descent before her star implodes, to leave a black hole at the centre of her galaxy, where the gravitational waves of her being ripple on through her family, her friends, and all that she touched until the end of time. It's just a friend got diagnosed with terminal cancer, and that's what brought that out. It's not about her, it's sort of around.
Oh, that was a lovely piece, and but yeah, it's these difficult personal experiences do prompt an outpouring of responses, don't they? And it's unusual the way they take what form they take, but yeah, that was powerful actually, Rose.
Yeah, thanks. It is. It's weird. You don't want to talk about people because I'd probably just cry right through the poem if I did that. So you have to get something.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you for sharing that as well. It was yeah, I think that connected with people. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Graham, we're with you.
Okay, my surname is MacLeod. MacLeod of Lewis from the Hebrides. Maybe not literally me, but that's where my roots are. This poem is about somebody else who is a MacLeod of Lewis. He might be my kith and kin, a flawed individual bathed in sin. Grubby hands grabs what he can, doesn't hold back, nor give a damn. His actions are, for the most part, evil. His actions and words much meaner, a powerful, hungry fascist with a foul demeanour. But if we turn back the clock a generation or two, this Donald MacLeod, how do you do? An island man of Hebridean good stock, destined to journey and to not give a fuck. Of ancient connections I cannot discern, a brother in arms from Lewis descends, so many clansmen crossing the sea for fame and for fortune, for God to decree. Some reached New Scotland or the US of A. Some stayed behind to struggle today. This Donald MacLeod, Trump be his name, lost sight of his soul, broke the rules of the game. To him only wealth is important to live, to him only self is a reason to give. on behalf of MacLeod's, ancient and new, those of the islands or with different views, I plead to your soul to look to your heart. Remember which world you came from. Don't tear this new one apart. There you go. Yeah, so I may be related to Donald Trump.
Oh, my condolences.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like the idea. I mean, obviously, I'm not. I wouldn't be pleased if that were the case, but it is intriguing. And interestingly enough, I got in touch with the MacLeod because his mother is a MacLeod, and Donald MacLeod being one of the most common names in the Highlands and the Western Isles. I got in touch with the Clan MacLeod Society. You know, thought wouldn't it be interesting to have a conversation with other MacLeods about this? Completely shut down. Nobody replied. It's like tumbleweed. Right. Nobody's wanting to have that conversation. But there you go.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, exactly.
Was MacLeod not the name of the character in the Highlander films as well? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't mean to bring that up. I'm sorry.
Let's not go down that route. Okay. Yeah, it was also the name of that spelt in a different way. The TV detective in the 1970s.
All right. Okay.
Dennis Weaver.
Dennis Weaver, that's exactly right. Yeah,
I remember it. He had
I remember. I was more of a Cannon kind of fan, to be honest.
Frank Cannon. Yeah.
Galloping through the streets of New York, wasn't he, MacLeod?
Yeah.
I remember it. I was anything on horses when I was a kid. That we had to watch it, even if it was.
Yeah, I do.
Even if it was awful, which it was.
Yeah.
Who knew this was going to come up in the conversation this evening?
Yeah. Donald Trump came up twice. Yes, I thought it was funny when you started reading a poem about Donald Trump.
He made cameo yet again.
Gets everywhere.
Unfortunately. Cool. Thank you very much, Graham. That was really good. Everything's good. This is good. Well, yeah, talking about detective shows, that might be a good segue for this next little story. For those of you who've not been here before, I apologize, but this is the final installment of the Adventures of Kung Fu Penguin. Now, Kung Fu Penguin, thank you, George. Kung Fu Penguin came out of my mind during the first or second lockdown. And I thought we needed a new superhero for our age of crime-fighting detective penguin. And he lives in this comic book world. And everybody in it seems to have New York accents for some reason. I don't know why, just go with it. Anyway, I've got a recap, which I think will explain everything. But this is the last episode of Series 2. I mean, there's probably a box set available somewhere. Any questions, ask me afterwards or email me and I'll do my best to explain. Anyway, this is Kung Fu Penguin, episode 6. Okay, it goes something like this. Previously on Kung Fu Penguin. Everyone's favorite private investigator received a visit from his former cellmate and friend Larry the Lemur, who told him about this girl Tina, a magical dancer he'd fallen for during a hit he'd been hired to carry out on a Mississippi steamboat owned by a crook who was in over his head. Larry asked Kung Fu Penguin to try and track down the dancer and give him a lead that skullduggery was afoot at City Hall, something to do with the mayor, a new construction project, and a possible assassination. At City Hall, Kung Fu Penguin met struggling theater impresario Louis King before examining the plans for the Sea Life Research Center, which seemed to have some unusual storage units. He was then mistaken for a mysterious character that the mayor and his team were expecting. Kung Fu Penguin met the mayor's PA, Marty, and she introduced him to the obnoxious B.A. Boone, a property tycoon, an outgoing mayor, who is trying to push through his crooked plans and make certain the new mayor doesn't scupper his plans by hiring the so-called asthmatic assassin to take him out. Mistaking Kung Fu Penguin for the asthmatic assassin, B.A. Boone outlines his plan to house a massive cannabis farm beneath the Marine Institute and Visitor Center, and has a large briefcase full of money to pay for the hit. The real hitman turns up, and Kung Fu Penguin is discovered. after using kung fu and trying to fight his way out in a desperate bid to escape from the conspirators, he was forced to make a daring escape. Having cheated death, Kung Fu Penguin meets D.I. Snow Leopard, who was working on a case for the drug squad. You really should have seen all the previous installments. They arrest the mayor's PA Marty and ship her the big bag of money and Kung Fu Penguin off to police HQ. And now, the last installment of Kung Fu Penguin. Meanwhile, down at the police station in a drab holding room, Meanwhile, down in the police station in a drab holding room, two figures sit across the table from the ever-efficient PA with the stripy tail. With a click, the recording began. D.I. Snow Leopard and Kung Fu Penguin interview begins at 1400 with Miss Martina Boone. Martina? Your name's Martina Boone? But you use Marty. Yeah, that's right, Penguin. Do you ever use Tina as well? She smiled with a twinkle in her marmalade eyes. Yes, sometimes. Listen, I'll tell you a little story. And this is where we segue into the musical number, because it's really a musical I'm trying to pitch here. But anyway, it goes like this. She sings this song, because there's always a song like this in musicals. Once I had myself a dream to be a star of stage and screen, but now that dream, it would seem to be so far in the extreme. I tried so hard and I'd rebel, I'd dance through all the fires of hell, and still he always tracked me down, brought me back to this mean town. I only wanted one good chance to really prove that I can dance and do what I have always done, to strive to get to number one. Once I had myself a dream to be a star of stage and screen, but now that dream, it would seem to be so far in the extreme. Listen, we've all got dreams, sweetheart, I told her. Life isn't always fair. You know there's $1 million in that case. D.I. Snow Leopard frowned. Where were you going with that? To the bank. The accountants are pretty creative. $1 million can vanish easily. Why? Well, the client requested $1 million worth of shares in the company, thought it would be a better investment. Don't lead us on a merry dance, Martina, sighed D.I. Snow Leopard. We know the construction company was a shell company and the cheating hyena had to be eliminated. And B.A. Boone didn't like that he'd given you that dancing job either. Sure, he knew I was talking to the police and trying to cut a deal by exposing... We knew he was talking to the police and trying to cut a deal by exposing B.A. Boone. I tried to break free, but I learned my lesson. If you agree to testify against B.A. Boone, we'll make you the same deal, maybe an even better one. Okay, I'm listening. We want his files, everything about the hit, the Sea Life Research Center, and the payoffs. Okay, I want a shot at the big time. Think you can make it happen? Well, I happen to know an impresario who is wanting to make someone a Broadway star and is looking for an investment. $1 million might just cover it. What do you say, Miss Boone? I say, you give your friend a call. I want immunity from prosecution, and I'll give you all the help you need. Sounds like a deal. And then she sings this other extra bit of the song. One chance, I would take it, 'cause I need to make it. You know I want to make it mine, if I get a shot at the big time. Please, if you invest in me, you're gonna get the best of me. I got a hunger and I won't stop. I ain't going nowhere but the top. Once I had myself a dream to be a star of stage and screen, but now that dream, it would seem, is closer than it's ever been. I found Louis King's business card, gave him a call. Hi, Louis, it's Kung Fu Penguin. I've got a talented kid here who wants a shot at the big time. She happens to come with her own sponsorship. $1 million. How about it? Yeah, Penguin! Hi, yes! I'd say we could work something out for sure. Definitely. What's this kid's name? I'll put it in lights. It's Tina, the mystical Tina. And that's what happened. Tina met Louis King, and he built this blockbuster show around her, dancing, singing, and musical numbers. It was a smash hit. People flooded back to his theater to find a new lease of life. I got a pair of tickets to the opening night, and I brought Larry along with me. We were invited backstage after the show, and I introduced Tina to Larry, and it was obvious that they had hit it off. And pretty soon they were an item. Tina testified against the former mayor, B.A. Boone, and his associates, and they were found guilty of conspiracy to murder and guilty of charges of corruption and criminal activities. B.A. Boone was furious at the trial. I thought you were smart, Marty, but this is nasty. So nasty, very, very nasty. Enjoy it while it lasts, but you're going to find it a very short party, Boone bellowed. And you, little private eye penguin, with your kung fu. When you least expect it, there'll be a nasty little present coming for you. That sounds like a threat, Mr. Boone. Are you going to bore on in front of all these witnesses? You really are a lunatic, such a moron. The so-called asthmatic assassin was also found guilty of collusion with Boone and his mob, but there was still the question over his role in the murder of the kid in that drugs war a few years back, and a trial date was set so I could finally clear my name and get that apology from justice. But that just may be another story, though. 18 months later, I find myself in everyone's favorite bar talking to that beautiful songbird Dame Domino, the owner of the Purple Gerbil nightclub. That rakish guy Keys was at the old piano and entertaining the punters as I downed my fourth drink of the evening. So it goes like this. Lima meets Lima. Lima loses Lima. Lima asks Penguin to find Lima. Penguin uncovers high-level corruption. Penguin finds Lima. Lima meets Lima again. Lima has dreams of stardom. Lima supports Lima. They marry, and Lima joins his brother-in-law in the family firm, Lima Brothers. That's the only joke this week. I'm really sorry. They marry, and Lima joins his brother-in-law in the family firm, Lima Brothers. Lima makes some poor investment decisions, causes a subprime market property crash. Lima falls on hard times and can't support Lima on her rise to global fame. So Lima goes off with her latest co-star, and Lima is left holding the baby. It's that old story. Dame Domino shook her head and said with a big grin, Sugar, you don't have come out with some weird stuff sometimes. I nodded. That's what they tell me. So I guess it'll be back to the mean streets for this Kung Fu Penguin. At least I got to the bottom of the mysterious Tina that moves like a ballerina and helped put a stop to the sinister forces that think they're above the law. It's a shame it didn't work out between Larry and Tina, but life isn't always fair. Some people get to live out their dreams and some people don't. There's always somebody somewhere up to no good. This town needs someone to fight for justice. This town needs Kung Fu Penguin. Kung Fu Penguin! Wah, wah! That's the end of Kung Fu Penguin Series 2. Thank you all for listening. That's very, very kind. And if you're very good, I might do the theme song later. But, oh goodness. That was worth waiting for 6 months. I blame Giletto, who made me do a Christmas special. Right, we have less than a minute, so we'll probably sign out and sign back in again and see where we are. Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, I'll push the button and I'll see you all in a second. Thank you. Thank you for being patient.
That was really funny.
Thank you. I hope it made some kind of sense because, yeah. It's
I like the musical numbers.
Yeah,
I don't know why,
really
but
good.
yeah, I don't know. One of them reminded me of the theme for the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I'm not sure why. You're probably too young to remember that.
I'm sorry, it's not ringing any bells, but yeah, they'll probably take me to court like Ed
Or
Sheeran.
Laverne and Shirley.
What I thought, Phil, was surely this has to be next year's Eurovision Song Contest entry from the UK. I can just see everyone in their costumes, the Kung Fu Penguin and the dancers in the background.
That's a really good idea. I like
Thank
that.
you, George. Yeah, okay.
I think you should talk to the BBC now.
Well, they did say that one of the problems with this year's was the staging. People didn't like the staging, so maybe that's where. Yeah.
Maybe that's where they're going wrong.
More penguins. Everybody loved the penguin. Come on. We just
The,
love
the one
penguins.
thing you really need to have a real live tiger that comes onto the stage as well. I think that would just bring the whole thing to a crescendo or a stop.
It's like the Lion King. There's those big well, they're not real lions, but they're sort of big, sort of mechanical lion things, aren't they?
The big puppets.
Yeah, big puppets.
Mm-hmm. So there you are. Hopefully I haven't traumatized everybody. Oh, we've got Jane with us. Hello.
Sorry, Phil.
That's all right.
Sorry, I thought today was Tuesday, and I just come back from a bike ride and realised it's actually Wednesday. Sorry about that, Phil.
That's all right. You've just missed the latest instalment of Kung Fu Penguin, which wrapped everything up. So I'll do it all again. No.
Oh no, that wasn't even deliberate.
I'll do it again at SpeakEasy.
Sorry, I missed all the other instalments because that was really good.
Unfortunately, they've all been recorded. You're very kind. Thank you. Yeah, if you're very lucky or unlucky, I might do the theme tune later. But yeah, I think who are we with next? Val, I think.
We had some discussion on Facebook about good and bad poetry, or what we thought was good and bad poetry. It kind of reminded me of this poem I wrote last year. It's just called Bad Poetry, and it proves I'm really good at writing bad poetry. I have a friend that drives me round the bend. He doesn't seem to know it, but he's just not a poet. There's nothing worse than really bad verse. I don't like to quote, so here's one I wrote. I met a girl, she is my world. She's very sweet, her hair is neat. We went for a walk and had a talk. We sat on the sand, I held her hand and declared my love under the stars above. But perhaps sometimes the most obvious rhymes can be a work of art if they're written from the heart. That's it.
That's great. Yeah. Last time Graham posed the questions about do poems have to rhyme? What are our feelings about rhyming poems? As a response?
That's right.
Cool.
Who knows?
Yeah. I think we decided it's whatever you want it to.
Absolutely. Yeah. What is a poem?
If you want it to rhyme, it can rhyme. If you don't want it to rhyme, that's okay.
Whatever you do with it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Val. Because you thought it was Tuesday, I thought we might let Jane go next because I'll sneak you in. Is that all right? You got something for us?
Well, not really, but I saw a poem today I quite liked by somebody called I've no idea, and somebody. I haven't got the name on it. Is that all right? I'll see what I'll find out what the name is, because I took a screenshot of the poem. Anyway, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Just a short poem. When the doctor suggested surgery and a brace for all my youngest years, my parents scrambled to take me to massage therapy, deep tissue work, osteopathy, and soon my crooked spine unspooled a bit. I could breathe again and move more in a body unclouded by pain. My mum would tell me to sing songs to her the whole 45-minute drive to Middle 2 Rock Road and 45 minutes back from physical therapy. She'd say, even my voice sounded unfettered by my spine afterward. So I sang and sang because I thought she liked it. I never asked her what she gave up to drive me, or how her day was before this chore. Today, at her age, I was driving myself home from yet another spine appointment, singing along to some maudlin but solid song on the radio. And I saw a mum take her raincoat off and give it to her young daughter when a storm took over the afternoon. My God, I thought, my whole life I've been under her raincoat. thinking it was somehow a marvel that I never got wet. I'll find out who that is. Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really like the last two lines. They were amazing about the coat.
Oh, so good, yeah. Right, I'm going away.
Is it something you have particular, personal experience of? Forgive me. Do you have
Yeah.
spinal problems?
Yeah, I have a knackered cervical spine. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
But I'm not reading it for that reason. I just thought it's a lovely poem, and it spoke to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you just found it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Wow.
Today, and another poet friend shared it. Oh no, I don't know how to mute myself.
Cool. Thank you, Jane. Okay, we'll pick back up with Craig. Do you have another one for us?
Yeah. So this is the one that's in this month's visual verse. It's called Ginny Spinnaker. She could magic up rainbows without e'er the need for rain, a double if you dared her, and promised ne'er to mention her name. She could charm the birds down from distant trees, and have them chirrup descants above the low drones of bees. But above all, she was a storyteller with a small library of books, concealed within her rust-coloured cloak, just big enough to safely shield a small truant away from nature's harm, or an ogreish child-catcher's looks. She educated the unteachables through her stories and her songs. With a flick of her wrist, her books became a squeeze box, and she'd sing at the top of her lungs. The cows and sheep would all gather round, until her long hair was an orb of fiery red. Entertained children would scuttle home for supper, then wearily off to bed. She would disappear at the hoot of an owl or the screeching of a bat, reappearing later in a childhood dream. Only young ones would ever see her. None could ever remember her stories or her tunes, but they knew the colours of the rainbow and other useful stuff like that. And that's that one. Thank you.
Oh, Craig, that was wonderful. That was great.
Please excuse my wife clapping in the background.
No, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. That was a really good piece, man. And that's the one that's on Visual Verse, yeah?
Yeah, this month, yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations. Good stuff, man.
Sorry, I don't know what Visual Verse is. What is Visual Verse?
There's a monthly image. It's been going on for, I've only been doing it for 8 months, but it's been going on for, I think, about 10 years, something like that. And there's a monthly visual. It could be a painting or some piece of artwork, and you've got an hour to write a poem based on that visual.
Right. Is this Cumbria based or worldwide?
No, it's a worldwide thing.
Oh right, okay.
And they get 150 to 200 entries every month, and 100 get published online.
Right, I'll look into that.
And
Cheers.
George and Jeanette are old pros at it, so they're probably the best ones to have answered that. But since I was on last, I'll say. But if there's anything they want to add, they'll probably do it better than I can.
So where do you get the subject that you're going to write about?
From the image.
Where do you find the image?
Oh, sorry, it's online on if you Google Visual Verse.
Visual Verse.
That thing is
it goes up in the first of sorry Craig, but it goes up in the first of the month, Sherry. So
right.
It's posted in the first of the month, and then from about the 5th of the month onwards, they start printing. Posting some about 3 or 4 times, Craig, I think, for all of they put up a batch of poems. And sometimes, I mean, Craig said 100. It can vary. Sometimes they maybe take about 80. Sometimes it's 100. But that's about, yeah. other than what everything that Craig said is exactly right, except I understand, Craig, that you've had some notification from them that they're stopping.
Yeah, they're saying that October would be the last one. It seems a shame, doesn't it?
So is there like a whole list of them that they've done? Can you see a whole list?
Yeah, there's it's a brilliant site because you can put in, say, Jeanette's name, and it'll come up with all the ones that Jeanette's had published, and you'll be able to see that, you'll be able to see everything that's ever been on there. If you look at, if you want to search by person, or you can search by a particular, you know, volume or you know, month or whatever.
Is this a lockdown thing? I mean, it sounds like a lock thing. Something popped up during lockdown, is it?
It's been going a lot longer.
Oh, right, okay.
It was, I think, Graham, I think it was originally edited from America, if I remember, but it's edited from Australia and some like Canada now. I mean, I think that's part of the reason they've got volunteer editors. They're spread all around the world.
Okay. Cheers.
So, I mean, it doesn't have to stop then. If someone else wanted to keep it going, couldn't they? Maybe.
I think you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to use the name.
Right.
Yeah, it probably depends.
I imagine it might entail quite a lot of work. You maybe need, you know, I mean, probably collectively as a group. I'm not suggesting this, but collectively as a group, we could probably manage it amongst all of us. But
yeah,
you'd need people who are, you know, probably that many people who are willing to do it every month.
well, I mean, it's good to have something to focus on, to write a poem.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it gets you writing stuff you would never ever dream of writing ordinarily, because it takes you down paths you'd never go down as well.
You guys always seem to come up with. You guys always seem to come up with really great stuff from it, so it obviously works.
It's quite exciting getting the email to see what the image is, because they're quite random sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, the month can't go by fast enough for me. I wish it was every week you could do one.
And then you get addicted checking to see if your piece is on there.
I've probably got too much time on my hands.
Poetry addicts. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I keep meaning to check it out. So yeah, I will try and do so. Yeah. You've sold us on this. But now you've got more competition, you guys. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much, Craig. That was great. Sherry, we're back with you actually.
Well, I haven't got another poem.
That's all right.
I was looking for one. Well, just now, sort of looking for one on the laptop, but I couldn't find it, and I sort of, I'll maybe have to wait till next month and write a poem. Some of the poems have been really great this evening, actually.
It's been great.
So
the variety, I think, is amazing, because you never know what you're going to get next.
No.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
maybe
next month.
More words will come. We won't be doing one next month because we're on a little summer break, so we'll pick it up again in September. But
okay,
there's plenty of time to come up with bits and pieces. But yeah. That's okay, Sherry. Yeah.
Phil,
Hello.
I just say hello? Can I just say I have found that poem, and it's by somebody called Ada Limon, Limon, and it has an accent on it. So Limon, yeah, Ada Limon. Just, I didn't want to not credit it. It was worrying me.
No, thanks for that, Jane. That's great. Okay, George, we're with George. Do you have something for us?
Yeah, this is going to be the strangest. Well, I think it's the strangest thing because it picks up something that Graham was doing, or it really picks up something Graham was doing. This is a poem that I have not read in 14 years. So if you come across, and it's also the only poem where I've ever dreamt the whole thing and woke up in the morning and had to write the poem. So it's quite a strange poem. I'm not sure if it was ever fully edited at the end, but I decided that in some ways I couldn't edit it because this is how it came to me. So, and you understand why I'm saying it was from the thing that Graham did. Like a leaf upon the water. Into the room walked a man of age, posture straight and proud, and he looked at the room as the silence fell, he looked at the gathered crowd. And their voice as soft as an angel wing, as clear as the midnight bell, he began to sing of the clan he loved, sing in that vaulted hall, sing of his kith and sing of his kin, sing of the clan MacLeod. We're always there like a leaf in the water, wherever you may be. You will find us there like a leaf in the water, like a leaf in the raging sea. We sail in the oceans in storm and gale, we laze in the doldrum lows. Always there, the leaf in the water, whatever life bestows. Always there, the leaf in the water, the green leaf, always free. You may feel alone, cast out adrift, lost in an empty place. Feel alone in a world of dark, surrounded by disgrace. The light may be low and the candle flicker, so your spirit has lost its way. And cold the wind and harsh the rain, bringing another day. But we are there, the leaf in the water of the tears upon your face. We rise in the flow, drift out on the ebb of tides on every sea. Look to the west, the Black Ridge Mountains, look and you will see. A MacLeod beside like a leaf in the water, never swamped and never gone. Just dip your hand and there in the palm will be a leaf ere long. Always there, that leaf on the water, the green leaf from the tea. Sometimes in a whisper, then rising loud, with eyes as grey as the mist mountain shroud, he sang, and that voice that rose and fell held all transfixed as he cast his spell, told of his life, told of his love, told of the clan MacLeod. Who has not wanted the girl of his dreams and broken away, been free, thrown himself into the winds of life like the green leaf from the tree? That new green leaf, which carried high, travels far with hopes for life, lived to the full in happiness, sailed above the strife, to laugh at the fates, cry at times, and rise to spit in their eye. Who has not wanted for mystic things, the touch which cannot be touched, the secret eye of inner truth, the hidden heart beseeched, the kiss that burns like the hottest flame, but cools the fevered brow, surrender self to another's will, yet truly free somehow. Life a swill and a twisting wind, which must be danced and danced. Always there, a leaf in the water, unchanged in every wave. MacLeod is there like a leaf in the water for the weak and for the brave. Though senses say it must be destroyed, will founder and be drowned. A frail weak thing amidst the power will never more be found. Yet it is there, that leaf in the water, always there to save. It may not reach the land again, this leaf upon the water. It floats there a constant still, the leaf upon the water. His hand raised high, and from his grasp a bay leaf fluttered free, fell past the otter spawn and past the narrow knee, till at his feet it landed in a pool of waiting water. A tiny leaf in a vaulted hall, a merest floating green, but not when I missed a single twist, all held by the simple scene. This leaf is like MacLeod to you, always there and always true. No matter where you are, my friend, MacLeod will be for you. Wherever you may be, my friend, wherever you have been. He left the room like the youngest son leaving the fireside. He left the room proud and straight, a tear in every eye. And in those tears, a vision seen, a leaf floating on the water.
Wow,
Wow.
that was good. I would love to have a copy of that. Actually, would you be willing to send it to me?
Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I've never done anything with that. It was one of those strange things. And at one time I thought, why have I said the Clan MacLeod? Because I mean, I've got no connection with the Clan MacLeod, other than I suppose I've been to Skye, but that's as close as I've got to the Clan MacLeod. But for some reason, I tried changing the name of the clan, didn't work, couldn't do it.
We are poets, us MacLeods. You know, that's what it is. It's in our spirit. The blood is strong. I'll send. We'll swap details through.
Yeah, get the email to me, Graham, and by all means, I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, George. Fliss, we're back with you. Do you have some more words for us?
Yeah, I got one. This is called Owl Similes. It's only short. You'll be glad to hear that. Lately, if I wake in the night, I've been hearing the lonely call of an owl, to-woo with no to-wit, like the hollow tock of a long case clock, erratic, winding down, like a mournful meandering metronome, like the silvery beam of a lighthouse, slow and smooth, sweeping across a sea of darkness, reaching out into an emptiness, summoning, not warning. The end. The postscript is, it turned out that the sound I thought was an owl was actually a dog that somebody puts out at night, and it barks in a kind of hooty way.
A dog that does impressions.
Well, just bad ears on my part, I think, but it's still an owl simile. It sounded like an owl.
Oh, brilliant. That was great. Thanks, Bliss. That's really good. Okay, Jeanette. Oh. Over to you.
I'm not sure if you can call this a poem. It's something that actually did happen, and I just had to get it out there. It's called Moon Shadow. I kept your CD. I played it whilst driving. You travelled with me, lived on with me in lyrics. But no words can describe how I felt when I opened the empty case, realising the CD was lodged, ready to play, in the car I'd just sold. It was Cat Stevens, remember?
That's a poem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh dear, the empty case.
Oh, I think I did cry rather than saying I could have cried. I think I did. I got a replacement though. And I've still got her box, so
You have a memory. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, we're back with Jeffrey. Jeffrey, do you have another one for us? Or?
No, I haven't anything that I've written. George's poem, I don't know. I thought the elements of Anglo-Saxon poetry in there. The Wanderer. I don't know if that's a poem you're familiar with. I once went to the Edinburgh Festival and sat through a recital of Beowulf in Old English, which I remember only the first few lines of it. Wax we gardener in yard ar gum fe od kunninga from ye thrunon, who the effelinges ellen fremadon. Yes, don't ask me what that means. There was a guy with a harp, because in Anglo-Saxon times, that's what they called it, the scop, the entertainer, the poet. He would accompany himself on a harp. No, I have decided, hopefully, to read a poem by Elizabeth Bishop, American poet, confessional poet. This is one of her most famous poems. It's called One Art, A-R-T. Anyway. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day. Accept the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch, and look, my last, or next to last, of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster, some realms I owned, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love. I shan't have lied. It's evident. The art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like, write it, like disaster. Confessional poet, as Robert Lowell. And
You read that beautifully, Jeffrey, as well. Yeah, that's the.
Thank you. I don't get many opportunities to read poems like that. aloud.
Well, you're always
except
welcome here.
except to myself, you know. An appreciative audience is always appreciated. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. That was great. Thank you. Okay, Roz, we're back with you.
Anything else? Really accept some old ones, which is always the way. That can go stupid or philosophical. Would you have a preference? I found cows in springs that time of year, and I've got calves in the field at the minute, and they look lovely. I thought I'd do that. It's a gloriously sunny day, and you know spring has sprung because you smell the cow dung when the muck spreaders come out to play. But the cows have to stay in their shed since the fields are all boggy and the grass far too soggy, so they eat hay and silage instead, until late spring when they're set free, and through the field they run, mooing and having fun, while lifting up their tails to pee. Resplendent in brown and white coats, they ruminate so their udders hang low and supply all the local milk floats. Take their milk, but it's a true sinner who can look them in the eye, eat a steak and kidney pie, and sit down for a roast beef dinner. And that was that. You couldn't describe it as a good poem, but I hope you like it.
So those were your musings.
Musings, yes. Well, that was lockdown when you had nothing to do but walk around for musing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. And we're with Graham.
This is just a silly wee thing. You can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can play with it. You can't smoke it, you can't eat it, you can't drink it, and you can't inject it. You can buy it, you can sell it, you can swap it, you can give it as a gift. It takes up space, it fills a box, it can be put on a wall or stored in the loft. It can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can turn you on, it can make you dance around the room. It's an addiction, a monetary affliction. It's a kitchen of distinction. It's a multifaceted system. It's my downfall. It's my vice. It's ruined relationships. Perhaps one day it will be the death of me.
Is there an answer to the...
Well, I don't know. Do you mean, what's it about? Is that the question? If I tell you what it's about, it might spoil it. What do you think it's about? What do you think it's about?
What about your vinyl collection?
Oh man, straight off.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I went to Dunbar the other day and spent more money than I should have done, and that's exactly what it is. Yes, well done. That's a man who has a vinyl collection as well, I would say. No, just a guess.
I do have. I still have all the vinyl I've ever bought, I think, but it's sort of gathering dust in a loft somewhere. But I've got a very big CD collection.
Right. Okay. No, but yeah, spot on. Well done.
Lucky guess.
I've got I got a poem about records and the needles and stuff, but yeah, I'll have to dig that. I'll have to share that sometime.
Cool.
Yeah, that was good. But my mind always goes blank when people ask. It's like a riddle.
Yeah, it's about life, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that was cool, man. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Jane, we're back with you because you joined late, so we'll give you another shot at reading.
This is about a walk, which isn't terribly original, is it? It's called Hacker. From here, Criffel looks like some old quilt or fleece or underlay. I've heard it's an indifferent walk on mud. Some hills balding to the north coast. Stars crack open their mustard and ochre. Would these familiar places be strangers in the raw close to? I need never venture further than the back lane and its autumn sheen and donkeys like screeching saws. The seagulls drawn in by lack of cold chips and batter bits when we were all sheltering. They never land unless there's a large and treeless space, as if they thought their wings were like a 747, like a long, trailing, dragging, fading cirrus cloud. I'm a sort of widow now. It's that time of life. You choosing other things over me and me choosing the same things over you. I don't want to try to beat death to it on long-haul flights. I'm done dispensing crumbs of currency to the less well-off. I have a drawer of 10-string beads the size of a sugar bit and eyeglass holsters rough sewn with Ganesh. My phone tells me too, amid the gaming and petitions and insomniacs, I've memories with you. I was going to start another story or two with someone said, but my memory got snagged on said. I used to know everyone on this road to the farm and then everybody after that to the next farm and so on. They've all gone. Too much litter from cars. Someone's mother got that look and liked to roam. Someone else's wife the same. There's no piano sounding from that front room anymore. No one piling stones in the beck. One's gone to Harrogate, another to Hereford. Too many curlews have been lost to poets. They should be forced to give them back, and men to eat that second poem they apologised to read. As I near home, a man makes a clumsy jump from a rav with bully bars. By instinct, I snap their number plate, but all they do is call in the beasts. Come on, come on, come on, come on, away, away. Hiya, 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 come on. I approach my house and think I used to know who lived here. The boiler drops ash like Santa. The freezer swallows hard several times. My own voice is atrophied. Hedgerow sparrows don't mind me and sit like finials on the hawthorn. They will say of me, she loved this house. I hope it's enough.
Cold chips and battered bits. I love that. I think that should be your album title.
Cold chips and brilliant.
Cold chips and battered bits. That's great.
It is rather good, actually.
It is what I know. Best thing this evening.
The highlight for the evening.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And interesting. I thought it was interesting about Criffel. And I mean, all poems are about perspective. Obviously, you see Criffel in Cumbria from a different angle from what I do from the hills of Dumfries, but it's the same hill. Very poetic. You're muted.
It's interesting you should say that. I was just out at my daughter's in Brampton, and I live in the west. And as I was walking up on Ridge Wood in Brampton, I was looking across to Criffel, and oh no, battery.
You okay?
Battery's gone. Sorry. Just as I was walking, I realised she walks up there a lot, and I cycle round the marshes all the time. And I thought we often must be looking at Criffel at the same time. Mm. We must often be seeing the same thing at the same time. Different angle, but just seeing the same thing. I don't know why that seemed a very comforting thought, actually. You can see Criffel from everywhere here, can't you? In Cumbria and also across on the Scottish side of the Solway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is our hill, of course, not yours.
You say that, but I think it's mine.
That's mine. It definitely belongs to Scotland.
I think it belongs to me.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, we have the views. We can keep the views.
Yeah, you can look, but don't touch.
Right. Oh, good. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes. Do we want one more quick round, or are we all poeted out? Who's up for one more round? Okay. What you
You're
want
the
to?
boss.
What do you want to know? Who wants another round? Hands up for another round. Me and Graham. Okay. And Janetto and Craig. Okay, well maybe do one more round quickly, and then I'll let you go, and then we'll pick up in September. So I'll push the button. We'll sign back in, and then we'll do it quickly, and then I'll let you go because you've all been really good tonight. I'll see you in a second. Thank you. That's good. It's been good tonight, guys. You've done really well, and it's nice to share all this stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me, Phil. It's been I've never done anything like this before, and it's really quite exciting.
Oh, good. Oh, wow.
and great to hear all these great poems.
Thank you very much, Phyllis. It's good to have you in the mix, and you've got some great poems and some wonderful words to share as well. It's great to hear what you've got to say.
For some reason, Fliss, the blacked out vision reminds me so much of a Bob Dylan thing. I don't know why.
Well, you know,
It's just to be honest, it's more Velvet Underground.
It's yeah. I really wish I could fix it, but maybe that's better. I don't know.
That's great. No idea what you look like, but you look really cool there.
Yeah, you can just see my teeth glinting in the light.
Like the Poetry Mafia on the corner.
Are you hiding in a cupboard so that nobody knows that you're a poet? Is that what it is?
No.
Secret poet.
I was here for the first section. It's my camera. It doesn't work when you go out and come back in again. It just kind of can't see anymore. I don't know why. Cool. Anyway.
Cool. Okay, we'll do one quick last round, and then we'll let you be free. But it's been great. Yeah, this is one. It's a friend of mine. We caught up about a month ago, and I saw her again on Monday actually. And she's been going through a rough time recently. Had a bad breakup, and I've been sort of talking to her a lot and helping her with stuff. And this is called Think Outside the Box. And I said to her, I came up with this. It sort of came out of what we've been talking about, and I hope you don't mind. And she said, I love it. I was like, oh, good. So it goes like this. We are forged in the flames of passion. There are angels that test us, demons that tempt us. Understanding is earned through experience. Character is moulded and tested by the steel of our resolve. Others may wound us, imprison our hearts, trick our minds, but once the hoaxer is revealed, our utopia is made anew. You become Colossus, rising above the ruins. How we rebuild ourselves, reset, is measure of our mettle. Wisdom is taught in life's toughest lessons, time a healer of all things past. Pain and anguish hurt us, seemingly forever, but wounds become scars, and scars will fade with the ages. From Pandora's box spilled all things, the evils of the world, but what remained was hope. There is always hope. Hope is that constant companion, with you eternally. There you are. Thanks very much.
Very poetic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wrote that in the bath. That was one of the bath ones. That's one of the bath ones.
Okay, as you said, we don't need to have that image in our heads.
No, I'm sorry. I have to spoil these things, you see.
I was talking to Barbara yesterday, and she said one of the things we have to let go of is hope.
But she always says interesting things, doesn't she?
She does.
Some people call it hopium.
That hope I'd definitely be lost.
No, I think hope's something we need. Okie dokie. Val, do you have something for us? Right. You okay, Val? Oh, the microphone's not working properly. Now, we've always wondered whether we'd have to do some kind of emergency mime poetry on these sessions. Now is the time. So yeah, you can do the excellent, a little dance. Okay. Thank you very much, Val. You've read beautiful stuff tonight already, so we'll give you a pass there. So yeah, cheers. Thank you so much. Okay. Craig, we're with you.
This one's a bit heavy, but I don't mind not doing it.
Do it.
You'd rather I didn't do it. It's a bit heavy, but it's sort of the last poem that I've written about my dad, and I've been sitting on it since last year. It's a bit of a monkey on my back, and I need to try and get rid of it at some point. And I'm hoping it'll be a little bit cathartic. So apologise if it's a little bit upsetting, but there is a bit of humour in it as well. So hopefully it's not too bad. It's called A Conversation with My Dad. Hi, Dad. Remember me? Long time no see. Too long. How you doing anyway? I put your picture in my book. Whatever for? To remind me, Dad, of how handsome you used to be, and to see how happy you could look. You're not so bad yourself, son. Oh, I've never been all that. Show me age now, Dad, with aches and pains much older than my years. Not forever young like you. My book. I've written a book. And there's a photo of you and Mum in it. My son, you've never written a book. Yes, Dad, were you not paying attention? Give it here, let me have a look. And I've written a poem about you. Yes, Dad, you even get a mention. Whatever for? You won't even remember me. You were so young when I left. I've never been there for you. But I never forgot that you once existed, Dad. And that you created me. Of that we have no doubt, surely. And you must have cradled me in your arms and kissed me, Dad. Show me your love. Dad? Are you there, Dad? Are you listening? Once, son, but no more. Mum or Nana told me years ago, Dad, that you used to just sit in front of the fire and cry. Why, Dad? Why did you do that? What was troubling you? Was there no one willing to listen? What was wrong, so very wrong, that you... Am I like you, Dad? Did it hurt, Dad, you know, when you finally managed to do it? If I ever tried to kill myself, I'd probably mess it up the first few times too. We've more in common than you think, Dad. I'm so clumsy and I'm hopeless at DIY. Oh, Dad, I think I've made a funny DIY. I'd better go. See you in a decade if I'm still alive. I don't know who's more mad, me or you. And that's that. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Powerful, mate. Well done.
Wow, Craig, that was very touching. Cause I know what you're talking about there, and yeah.
And the strange thing is, it doesn't bother me, and it's never bothered me till I was like late 50s, and now I'm 61. It's kind of like been a bit of a preoccupation of late, but I was talking to George on Saturday, and I was saying that where I never really thought much of him because I never really knew him because he died when I was 3. that I now have empathy for him where I didn't. And I had, last year was probably a year where I was quite depressed. And then I sort of found myself in a place where I thought, well, yeah, I can maybe understand why he did what he did. But it doesn't bother me, and it's sort of, but it's just something I felt I needed to be said, and I'm sort of pleased I did it anyway. So thank you.
If it's of any help, Craig, there's an anthology out at the moment, Poetry for Mental Health, Suicide Volume 2.
All right.
There's also a general collection for addiction, Poetry for Mental Health about addiction. They're both by Robin Barrett. I can't remember what the imprint is that it goes under, but Robin Barrett, Poetry for Mental Health. I actually posted something by me the other day. But thanks for sharing.
Thank you, and thank you for that recommendation, George. That's really, really good. Thank you, Craig. Okay, Sherry, you did you have anything else, or you're okay, Sherry?
If it's okay, I think I'll just keep listening. I did get my recorder out, but then I thought that would be a bit too boring for everybody. I could play that one I played before, the Enchanted Fairies.
Yeah.
If you want me to.
Yes, go for it, please.
Oh, blimey.
Thank you.
It was a poem written by my granddaughter, and I just put a little tune to it about enchanted fairies. So that was it. And my granddaughter's now my grandson, which is something that I've found quite difficult to get my head around. But I may write something about the way I feel about that for the next time. So thanks, everybody. It's been really interesting being here.
Thank you,
this
Sherry.
evening. Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks for joining in. It's been good.
You're
All right,
welcome.
George, we're back with you.
Thanks, Phil. Well, on the same day I had that line that I couldn't manage to get out of my head. Later on at night, I got another line that did the same sort of thing. So this is a man of little substance. What is money? He says, glibly. Who has it does not hunger, shiver on streets, dwell in dank flats. His clothes are new, bold and bright, his bread buttered and richly jammed, his cakes and ale. Money, a mere necessity, a frivolity spent at for his pleasure, his silver spoon deep in the pot.
Yeah, these are ones you linked these through on the Facebook page, didn't you, George?
I think I did. No, I did actually, because I wrote them both the same day, and I did post them on Facebook. Yeah, in case you wondered what his money, he says, was me. It was something I was sitting down and I thought, what is money? And I thought, yeah, well, money's quite a lot to.
Thanks, George. Fliss is gone. Janetto, we're with you.
Okay, I'll leave you with a haiku. And this is inspired by the skies over Wigton a couple of months ago. Swirling dusk on sunset canvas, starlings. Is that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They were phenomenal. They were phenomenal, weren't they?
They were
Starlings
absolutely
over-
wonderful. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Wonderful. Yeah.
It's quite magical to behold the patterns
Ah.
and the swirling of the
And we just seem to have so many here, don't we? Just thousands of them. Beautiful.
Yeah, they were, absolutely.
Thanks very much. And where are we at now? Back to Jeffrey, if you've got another one for us.
Well, I know Kelly's not here, but she and I are members of a Saturday Zoom group which reads Shakespeare plays, and recently we were looking at the sonnets. So I'm going to scrape the barrel now and hopefully remember some Shakespeare. It's sonnet 116, which is the one which is often trotted out at weddings. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love that alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. And I've yet to read it at a wedding. I once went to a wedding and somebody else read it, but they didn't recite it. They actually read it from, from a copy of the sonnets. I thought, that's cheating. So it's the actor in me, I'm afraid.
Okay, if anyone's got any weddings coming up and they need some readings done, Jeffrey.
Yeah, cheap rates, believe me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You read that beautifully. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Roz, we're back with you. Do you have another one for us?
Yeah, I was going to leave a bit of simple rhyme. Perhaps I'm a literary fraud, writes rhymes that leave people bored, probably because the rhymes I choose are the easiest ones to use. Though my poems are soporific, I'm alarmingly prolific. I can always think of a rhyme to fit any event or time. Whatever circumstance I'm in, I always come up with something. But that small imperfection could indicate misdirection. And though this rhyme is written simply, it's really a poem about irony.
Very good. Thank you, Rose. Excellent. Okay, Graham, back to you.
Hi. I think I've said this before, that I've always written poetry, but it's only since my partner Siobhan, who is a writer and poet, only since she died have I actually got up and shared words with the public. So this is about that. This is your dream. This is your right. I am just a cheat or a messenger, taking advantage of the situation when the truth is, these are your words, just in a different order, with other colors, words you would have used, but it is me who must give them and afford them meaning. Keep them coming to deliver your message to the world. I was here. Obviously inspired by Morecambe and Wise as well, just like same notes but in a different one. Cheers.
Yeah, that was really beautiful, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing it with us. Wow. All right. Back to Jane. Have you got another one for us? Some powerful stuff tonight.
Really powerful. The stuff that Graham and Craig just read. Yeah, really moving.
Thank you.
Nice to see Jeffrey. Hello.
Hello,
Nice to see
Jane. Yes,
Hello.
Phil got in touch with me, and I wondered, why is he getting in touch with me? So I thought it was Kelly putting him up to it, but anyway, she denies all knowledge. So it's nice to be here, yeah, to share to Zoom now after how many years of pandemic zooming? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
fully
going to
fledged.
read. I'm just going to read a short one. I've read quite a bit of Margaret White's poetry recently. I think there's a friend who recently died, and I'm not going to read her stuff. I'm going to read a poem written by Jennifer Copley, who is quite a well-known local poet, localish poet, northeast actually. Oh no, was she northeast? She was northeast. I think she's actually over here now. But anyway, Jennifer. She wrote this, and Margaret's husband Peter sent it to me, and I said I'd probably read it. It's very short, but I could have written this. It just says everything about Margaret. After Margaret, there's a stillness in the air now, a missing. No one else could win an argument like she could. Such a hard stare. But she was loving to those she loved. Moth would have laid on her bed forever. When she visited, she brought me 6 sweet egg custards. She'd arrive in a flurry of long grey hair, stylish coat, belted thin and a slash of red lipstick. The house held its breath as she walked in. I'll miss you, Margaret, your wicked laugh, your scorn of bad poets, your Christmas cards covered in beautiful scrawl. Jennifer wrote that in March, just after Margaret died. And that just sums her up, actually.
Thank you for reading that, Jane. That was really lovely as well. There's been lots of poignant pieces this evening, actually. Okay, well, I've got a piece I can finish with, and then I'll do this song. Yeah, I read this piece last week, and it got a really weird reaction. I finished, and there was stunned silence, and everyone was like, "Are you okay?" I can write morbid stuff if I want to. So, yeah. I think it's because it was my birthday last week, and it was my, I always get morbid that time of year, and all other times of the year. Anyway, it goes like this. It's called On My Very Last Day. On my very last day, I'd say goodbye to all my friends and try to make amends with the ones that had drifted far away. On my very last day. On my very last day, I'd take comfort in magic that's all around, find the beauty in every sound. I'd wish that I could stay on my very last day. On my very last day, I'd look back upon my time, savor joys and not my crimes. And I know you'll be okay on my very last day. On my very last day, I wouldn't want anyone to grieve, as with dignity I'd leave. There'd be no more words to say on my very last day. And on my very last day, I hope that you might smile and think of me once in every while. Without me, you'll find a way after my very last day. That's that.
Cool. I like that.
Thank you. Right. Well, thank you all very, very much. I'm going to do this song and then we'll wrap things up. But it's been a lovely evening. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well, give yourselves a round of applause for everyone who's read tonight and everyone who's listened, everybody who's played a musical instrument, everyone who sang, everybody who left early, and everyone who stayed to the bitter end. And yeah, thank you all for coming. If you're around in Carlisle in 2 weeks' time, we've got the last SpeakEasy of term on the 31st of May at the Source Collective.
See you there.
Yeah. And then there'll be some events over the summer. I think we're doing a slot at the Unity Festival at Tully House on the 15th, Saturday the 15th of July, but still to confirm the time. And then we'll pick up again proper in September. So I'll figure out dates and things. But I know the one at the source will be something like the 27th of September. But yeah, I'll do this song and then I'll let you go. But it's been great. So this is the Kung Fu Penguin theme song, and it goes like this. Na 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 na. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. 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 Wrongly put behind bars, wah wah. There weren't a whole lot to do, Learned to align his chakras, nah nah, and taught himself kung fu, wah wah. Now he fights the bad guys, wah wah, 'cause they're not very nice, wah wah. Kung fu's where his strength lies, wah wah, and he puts them on ice, wah wah. Da 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 da. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. 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 To him it's not a matter of black and white. It's simply the difference between wrong and right. He is working day and night. Always got the villains in his sights. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. 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 Some call him cool, others say Sub-Zero, wah wah. This 3-foot feathered vigilante, wah wah. He's not like your average hero, wah wah. Don't eat caviar or drink a fine Chianti, wah wah. He's number one, he's the best, wah wah. He always puts the hours in, wah wah. You really don't want to mess, wah wah, with the Kung Fu Penguin. Na 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 na. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. Kung Fu Penguin, wah wah. Kung Fu Penguin. That's the Kung Fu. There we are. Kung Fu. There you are. That's Kung Fu Penguin. Thank you for listening. It's been wonderful. You've all been great. Get home safe. Have a good summer. And we'll do this again sometime, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Thanks.
it. Good.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been wonderful to see you all. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, lovely to meet you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
take care. We'll do this again sometime soon, yeah?
See you in a fortnight.
See y'all.
All the
Bye.
best.
Bye.